The dust has settled on YCS Sydney, and is that Sword Soul and Runic running it back into the format? Yes, it is! Hey, 32%, and the number's going down. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we have your top 32 breakdown here out of Sydney, Australia, and let me tell you, Tier Elements is just running this show, man. Like, there is, if you wanted me to tell you there was going to be something different here, instead of 21 Tier Elements topping this event, well, unfortunately, I don't have that for you. But let me tell you this, though. That is such a high representation. Like, I'm actually very, very shocked about that. Now, we had 4 Sprite players in top 32. Now, that number has bumped tremendously down from what we've seen in the past. You know, Sprite was like the go-to runner of the, like, anti-meta world next to Flunderies here for quite some time. And, you know, I hate to say it, but, like, it's really sad to see that, you know, Sprite has just been bullied down so hard. Maybe Konami should make an actual ban list and know how to work their format here. Now for your rogue competitors here. We had 2 Runic players in Top Cut. Now, I'm actually very, very happy to see that Runic, and so from what I was told that these were the control variants, or at least from what I was reading from people. So if you're like, oh my god, you know, Neturi did good, no, it doesn't look that way, unfortunately. It looks like that they were the standard, you know, slow down the game, you know, take away the opponent's deck. Basically what we've been used to up until this point. And then we also had double Sword Soul in top 32 as well. We'll be looking at one of those lists here in a second. I will say, Sword Soul has evolved very, very far for this event. Like, it does not even look like anywhere near a former part of its self. And I think that's, like, very important to understand, is, like, a deck has to go through that many evolutions to keep up with, you know, what's going on with this form. Now, as we pass on over into top 16 here, you're going to notice a couple of very major changes. Sword Soul did not escape out of that top cut, which is really sad, actually, because I know we were all actually cheering to see that Sword Soul could hopefully pull this out, but that and Runic both devastated the top cut, you know, transition here. Now, seeing that you were left with 13 of the Tier Elements players scraping by at this point is absolutely devastating at the end of the day. I'm not quite shocked to see that turnover. You know, Flunderies being reduced to some major, like, changes as well here. Oof. And then, of course, 1 Sprite player making it by the transitional top cut as well, proving that, you know, the big 3 are still holding on in that place in the format here, showcasing that, you know, these are those monstrous decks that you've been, you know, so used to seeing here. As we transition on into top 8 here, where things are, you're going to look at this and you're going to go, what happened? Well, 7 Tier Elements players made it in to top 8, and you're probably just like, yeah, okay, Robbie, yeah, you got me. I expected that, yeah. Your turnover conversion rate there is, I'm not surprised. And you also had 1 Flunderies making its way into top 8 as well. How unexciting this gets. And then top 4, you had 3 Tier Elements, and then 1 Flunderies. And then your grand finals was Tier versus Flunder. Jesse Cotton stepping up to the plate and going, this is my championship. And Jesse ends up winning the entire event. No real shocker to see that, you know, we're what, 5 rings now for being the champion out here. So congrats to Jesse Cotton taking down another amazing finish out of this event. But I mean, looking at the overall structuring of this top cut, I mean, am I shocked by any of this? No, and you really shouldn't either. Until we see some sort of change come up here, the format's going to continue to look as craptastic as it is. And, you know, I hope Konami pulls their head out of their butt here and actually knows how to design a better format here, because you can't tell me that they thought Macro and Di-Fi would be the real changers out here for this. Well, we're going to pass on over. We have a few deck lists that I've seen pop up this early on, so we can actually have a chance to discuss some of these. The first deck list we're actually going to be looking at here is going to be Rafael Nevin's top 8 list. Now, Rafael is no stranger to the top cut of these events. Most of you should be very familiar with that name. And, for what tier is at this point, I will say that I'm not, generically surprised to see that this deck continues to turn over and do well. Now, some of the more interesting things here, the inclusion of 8 Bysteals in this build, 6 Bysteals in this build, definitely was a nice, 7, because we had the one Snoraneer up there. I'm also happy to see that we had a Guido coming back and seeing some play. For so much of this format, so many people have just tossed a Guido to the side, and it's very nice to see a Guido getting the chance to show back up and, actually kind of power flex on the format a little bit and go, hey, I can be important too. But the rest of this main deck is going to feel very, very, very standard for what you are pretty much used to at this point for this deck. Extra deck, I don't see anything really too special, unless you want to count the Beatrice as actually something, but we've seen that come up a little bit more as the format is kind of explored here. And I also see that we also are playing 2 more Snoraneers over here in the side deck, which indicates that, hey, we're still, if we need to go into those 9 Bysteals, we have access to do so. And of course, you still see Scattershot over here. The other interesting thing is we're playing Set Rotation in the side deck. That's actually kind of interesting as well. Nice little tech choice over there. You don't really see that all that much. I mean, you pull Zombie World out of your deck, hand it to your opponent, or you take it, depending on your matchup. So, seems actually quite interesting to me at the end of the day. So, yeah, not too bad of a run back here for that list. So, everything looks pretty standard for Rafael's list. No real complaint or ruse over here. Now, the other list here there was a top, 32 list out of this YCS that was tiered, but it was playing a lot of like Thunder Dragon stuff out here. Now, 60 card hodgepodge piles definitely can catch you off guard, especially when you get to, I don't even know where to begin playing this, because your Bysteel package is going to tie into your Dragon Link package, and then your tier package isn't even like that extended per se here. It definitely showcases a lot more of the power that you really want to do, but because you're playing a lot more heavily on that Thunder package, I feel like your mill power, a lot of the things that you're going to be doing with this build are going to feel a lot better off, if that makes sense. I do definitely like the idea that this build was trying to go for at the end of the day. I think it's definitely, it opens up the doors to showcase that, hey, we can pull all of these engines together here, and we can actually make this work. I also like the fact that we are playing the Chaos Betrayer in here as well. I have not seen that card see a lot of play, actually, really at all. And the fact we're also playing Diabolsis down here as well from the Lair Structure deck. It's kind of interesting, but you want to talk about just like turbo, like draw power that you'll be able to filter through and have your opponent just kind of stare at you and go, what in the world is going on here? I don't understand this at all. Well, evidently, this is actually just the best way to really consider playing this combo pile at the moment. So, honestly, like I said, I like seeing innovation out here. I think that this is by far one of the cutest variations out here, and you gotta give it the Thunder variants. All right, they definitely do some weird things. All right, we have one more little spicy list here, and it's that Sword Soul list. All right, so this was the top 32 list here for Elton, and they uploaded this to YouTube. I figured we'd go ahead and port it on over here and showcase this, because this shows such a crazy evolution to this deck. Like the 10E cards have been just dramatically cut. They talked about how the Bysteel package was just an insane carry for them. Like, these cards were so amazing at the end of the day to really put them into, position. And then, they talked about how amazing Destrudo ended up being at the end of the day as well. And then, of course, Pod Desire is an amazing card. Now, this is probably going to be something you're going to look at and you're going to go, why are they playing Instant Fusion? Well, Magic Key, level 4 tuner, plus any Bysteel actually makes Baron to floor. And, you shouldn't be too surprised to hear that Baron being, an Omni-Negate tuner, or an Omni-Negate, and then, a Destruction actually matters all that much. And we're also playing an Access Code Talker package in here. as well that I think a few people are going to find kind of interesting. But to be fair with you, I mean, like, hello, you have a level 4 right here. Ecclesia also acts as a level 4 spellcaster. You have 6 spellcasters here that you can step on into here via, like, Celine, and then be able to capitalize on to OTK your opponent. And I think that's very important to understand at the end of the day here is those stepping stones that you just have built into your deck naturally for, like, you know, OTK measures, they're available to you at literally any point. So I think that's pretty interesting to kind of take note of here is just you get some pretty free little interactions here. I think a lot of people are just like, huh, I might have missed that. So definitely worth exploring. So that wraps up everything that I currently have for the YCS. Now, there's not to say that there won't be more coming out later on in the day, but for now, that is everything that has caught my attention. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.